This video is sponsored by Mistplay. More on them in a minute. Hey humans, it's Hannah. Welcome back to the channel. Today we are covering the last tiers, the deepest tiers of this shock screamer site, website, iceberg monstrosity. I'm really sorry to go through the disclaimers again. I know most of you have already listened to these in the other videos, in the other tiers of this iceberg, so I know that you know what you're getting yourselves into. But just on the off chance that somebody stumbled upon this video and it's the first video of mine they clicked on, I really need to just let everybody know. So first of all, flash warning for this video. Not for this video, I guess, per se. If there's flashing in any clips that I put, I will give you at least a text warning beforehand, but just to let you know that if you choose to go and research any of this on your own, major flash warning for a lot of these websites, which can be dangerous to people with epilepsy. Secondly, very excited to announce that there is no animal cruelty in these tiers. We don't have to skip any of the topics today because, as you know, I do not even touch that stuff on my channel, especially because there's like real videos that go along with that, and there were a few on the last video. We're not doing it, so there's none in this one. There is a video that supposedly has animals involved, specifically orangutans. But the video, I'm going to give you a big spoiler alert now, the video is fake. There's absolutely no evidence that this video ever existed. So I will be describing to you what supposedly happens in the video, but I don't think that's too worrisome for most people. If I can handle it, you could probably handle it because I'm very sensitive to animal stuff. It was completely fake. Somebody just made up a description for this video. That'll make more sense later, but just want to give a huge warning for that. And then lastly, of course, huge content warning for this video as a whole. As the title implies, this is a screamer / shock website iceberg. As always, I will never jump scare you, at least without giving you a warning to skip if you don't want to see it. I'm always very transparent about any jump scares, but typically I don't even include them. I'll just show you a picture of what the jump scare would be if it was like here. And then lastly, since this is a screamer and shock sites, a lot of shock sites involve either violence or extreme situations, which of course I will keep this YouTube friendly, but some of the topics in this video might still be disturbing to some. So keep that in mind if you want to keep going. Also, as usual, I do not recommend going to any of these websites yourself. I take a pretty big risk doing it myself because you can download a virus on your computer, and I cannot guarantee that any of these sites are safe. They are definitely not safe for work, but they may not be safe for your hard drive either. I think that's it. I'm so sorry. I try to keep intros short and sweet. I hate long intros in YouTube videos, so I always try to keep them short, but this one, it is very important to get the disclaimers out there. The biggest disclaimer is just that some of these descriptions, nothing graphic is going to be shown, of course, never anything graphic. It has to be YouTube friendly, but I will be describing some stuff that is going to be either disgusting or disturbing to you, most likely. But if you're into that, keep watching. One of my favorite parts about the audience that I have curated on my channel is that so many of you reach out to me and tell me that you love watching and listening to my videos while you're doing something enjoyable. Crochet or painting or mobile games. And I know a lot of you are sitting there playing mobile games while you watch this. Did you know that you could be playing mobile games and earning rewards just by playing them? You can do that, and it's all thanks to today's sponsor, Mistplay. Mistplay is a loyalty app for anyone who loves mobile games. Discover new games through their very large catalog. They have puzzles, strategy, word games, adventure. They have so many to choose from. The more you play, the more you earn. You can then redeem the points that you earn by playing the games and convert these into gift cards. So Mistplay has so many gift cards to choose from. I mean, they have Amazon, Walmart, PlayStation or Xbox, Starbucks, like the list goes on. I don't have time to list them all here. If you don't believe me, Mistplay has redeemed over $100 million in gift cards to their users. And that's just so far. I've been playing Triple Tile. This is a very relaxing yet stimulating match game. It's like challenging, but it's not too stressful. I've also discovered this game called Word Hike through Mistplay, and this game is so fun. It's like a crossword puzzle with a twist. The clues are challenging enough that it is fun, but not so challenging that the game is frustrating. I earned about like 500 points playing these two games last night alone. I'm working on a Sephora gift card, okay? Visit mistplay.com/Hannah or click the link in the description to download Mistplay for free. You'll get 200 bonus points for signing up today. Plus, use my code HannahTheHorrible inside the app for an additional 50 free points. This will help towards redeeming your first gift card. As always, info will be right below this video in the description. So in the last video, during Tier 5, we talked about one topic that I could not find the video for, so I could not confirm the contents of that, and that was One Guy, One Basketball. Now, shout out to It's That Boy Crazy on Instagram because he is one of my subscribers and DM'd me that he found the video. So we have the missing video, One Guy, One Basketball. We talked briefly about what it probably is based on the comments on Reddit, but now I can confirm that it's exactly what we thought it was. In spite of the clip saying that it's One Guy, One Basketball, I actually believe that the person in the video is a trans woman. I don't know their pronouns, so I'm just gonna use they pronouns because I don't know. The clip that went viral as a shock video that you would send to somebody to prank them was just a woman helping another person. Again, I believe that would be the trans woman push a basketball out of their anus. Now, it's not a full-size basket. Yes, I watched the video. It's not a full-size basketball, but it's not like it's not like one for a dog either, you know? Like it's still like a pretty good-sized basketball. It's That Boy Crazy on Instagram, the person who helped me find this, also found the complete video that this video clip was from. If the FBI ever looks in my computer, they are going to think I'm into some really weird stuff. I had to watch the whole video though, because I had to know how they did this, because the clip, all you see is it being expelled. The full video does in fact explain a little bit more on how this was even possible. The way that they did this is that the woman helping them, the other person, puts the basketball is deflated, and they put that inside, and it's hooked up to an air pump, and so she pumps it full of air while it's inside of them, and then it gets expelled in the video. You know, not my thing. However, it was clearly between two consenting adults. They seem to be having a real good time in the video, so who am I to judge? My job is so freaking weird. Okay, so for those of you who haven't instantly been scared away for the rest of this video by that one alone, let's move on to the rest of Tier 6. So we started Tier 6 in the last one. The rest of Tier 6 we're gonna finish right now, and then we're gonna do 7 and 8, and that's the last one. Honestly, I know the one I just talked about was pretty bad. However, I will say that these last tiers as a whole, I don't think were quite as bad as the last video, in my opinion. So this next one on Tier 6 is porkspin.com. This one's pretty dumb. This is very similar to Meat Spin. It's just somebody's penis spinning in a clockwise motion, according to the description, and the You Spin Me Round song plays in the background. So then there's a spin counter in the corner of this website, and apparently after you surpass 25 spins, it means you've been watching it too long, and "You are gay" will flash across the screen. And then at the bottom of the image, it says, "Hey, you are cute." Then, of course, you get a bunch of pop-up dialogue boxes, making it hard to close the window so that if people were around other people while they opened it or got tricked into opening this link, they'll be super embarrassed. Pretty sure this must have been made by a 10-year-old boy, right? So the website seems to exist still, but the little flash animation does not seem to be there anymore. That's okay, I can use my imagination. I've seen meat spin, so I get the gist. CheesyPeas.net is next. I don't have a whole lot of information on this one. Apparently, it's just another puke one. And apparently this one involved 3 women. However, if you go to the website now, the website still works, but it just goes to an Asian porn website. Not a lot of info on that one. Butchered Girl. Okay, so I think I found this one, but I'm not positive. This is actually not that bad. I thought that this one was going to be some sort of horrific gore shock video, but it's not. It's just a classic screamer, actually. So this one is a little lesser known, but a pretty good jump scare on YouTube if you accidentally come across it. It's a 21-second clip, and it shows this little girl in a beige dress, and she's dancing. She disappears off screen, and so you're kind of like focused on where she went, so you don't expect it, but then you get this, of course, a scream and a jump scare of an image of a girl that looks like a butchered girl. I think I can actually show you what this girl looks like, what the jump scare is, because it was, again, like a little scary and would definitely be scary if you weren't expecting it, but I don't think this one was actually that bad, not too disgusting. Milk fountain. So this one is actually an image, not a shock video. I had the pleasure of looking at it. I honestly laughed when I saw this one, even though it's pretty disgusting. This is one of those that is really disgusting, but it's also so ridiculous. It's one of the ridiculous, over the top ones that I kind of low key want to know how they did it and want to know how they set it up. Okay, so this is I'm gonna paint a picture for you here. This is disgusting. Just FYI, this is one of the gross kink things, but it's a photo. So this is a photo of a woman. She's like leaned back, and there's a man also leaned back in the opposite direction. So he's like laying on his back. They are bumping uglies, but they're both like only connected there. They're both like leaned back. You can't see the guy's face in the photo. You only see the girl leaned back. So while she's doing that, she has something all over her. It looks disgusting and brown. I don't know for sure if that's what it is. It could be set up and fake. But then there's the ridiculous part. I mean, it's ridiculous as it is, but then there's 8 women, 8 supposedly Japanese women around her, all in a circle. Their hips are like touching. They're like in this perfect circle, and they all have little booties, and they're all squirting a milk substance out of their butts. I don't know what the milk substance is. And this is why I want to know how they set it up. Like, I don't need to see how it was set up, but I'm just curious on what the director did. I want to know how they did enemas, maybe? What the fuck? And I just like, how? Who came up with this? Who got this idea in their head and said, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do that. How did they get people to participate in this? I really hope they got paid. So many questions. This is a photo. It's a still from a full adult film all the way back from 2002, over 20 years ago. So just think, all these very young women in this video are like in their probably mid 40s now. I wonder what they're doing. I wonder if they ever look back on this moment and think like, wow, was I desperate for money? Maybe they liked it. I don't know. The real bananas thing is that the description of the original website said that this photo was an artistic examination of the female form and human sexuality, which is just okay. The photo was eventually changed to a gift with 2 women with like these large fake you-know-whats, and they were so clearly fake. One also had very ridiculously large, again, pretty sure fake inflatable breasts that were squirting a milky substance out of them instead. Like, honestly, it's way tamer than the original image. And the internet, man, the internet is just so weird. Okay, Goosh Goosh is next, and I do apologize in advance for this entire video, but this one especially. This one's pretty disturbing. It's from an anime, so it did not happen to real people. However, SA warning for this one. Very violent one. just, yeah, skip to the next one if that's not good for you. So this is from an anime called Tokyo Tribes, or sometimes referred to as Tokyo Tribe 2. Like most animes, it was a manga originally, but they changed it into an anime, and I think it was like all the way from 1983. I'll correct that on the screen if I'm wrong. But anyway, so this is the first episode of the anime. There's a scene that people clipped out of the first episode, and it became a shocker video. So it's still up on YouTube, disturbingly enough. I could technically show it to you and not get age restricted. I'm not going to, because I wish I had never seen this clip, but it's seriously, like, one of the clips is up on YouTube I found is age restricted, and it was age restricted by YouTube, not by the creator, because it said by community guidelines, not by the creator. And there's another one. There's a full YouTube video of this entire episode up on YouTube. It's not age restricted. YouTube sucks at this because they'll age restrict me for like a photo, a still of something that isn't even that graphic, but then they won't. I've literally found shorts of people filming people dying, like dead bodies, and it's still not age restricted on. Sorry, side tangent. I get really irritated with YouTube. Is really bad at actually taking their content down. Hence, that guy that just decapitated his dad. I'm sure you all heard that news story, and took a video of it, and it was up on YouTube for hours before YouTube took it down and got thousands and thousands of views. YouTube sucks at actually keeping things safe like they say that they do. Anyway, so like I said, I think it's gross that this is still up. I don't personally think that this should be on YouTube, even though you could argue that it's art. I don't think that this should be just like on YouTube where anybody could stumble onto it. Okay, so the scene is an anime. Like I said, it's a character named Bupa, who is the stepfather of one of the main characters named Mira. Bupa, apparently, the backstory is that he killed both of Mira's biological parents. He's the leader of this gang/mafia group, and the protagonists are trying to take Bupa down. Like, that's what series kind of surrounds itself on. So in this scene, Mira and some friends go to Bupa to deliver some money to him. And as they're there to meet Bupa, like, Bupa sets his sights on this young man, and he is like an unnamed character, but he's supposedly one of Bupa's slaves. It's really weird though. I don't think he was with the protagonist's group because they don't protest when this happens. Anyway, you could see where this is going. For some reason, and by the way, I show you a picture, but Bupa is like this humongous character. He's absolutely enormous, and this boy is very small, and he R-words this boy in front of Mira and his friends. It's very weird. They don't protest, I'm guessing because they're scared of him, but they just kind of like stand there and wait. And he is so large, Bupa is so large, that this character gets killed in this scene because of this assault. The scene is shocking. It's very violent and bloody. I think the purpose of it was just to make you hate Bupa so much right off the bat, like just to show how evil he was. The title of this video is Goosh Goosh because Bupa is saying Goosh Goosh over and over during the clip. The only props I will give to this is that it definitely portrays an R-word scene without it being sexualized whatsoever. Like, it's absolutely disgusting and horrendous. And I do think a lot of media has this problem with weirdly hypersexualizing SA. See it in any movie, and sometimes it's weirdly sexualized when SA is really should not be as sexualized at all. And so I will give them props for that. They definitely made it horrible. They definitely made it very much non-glorified. But don't recommend watching that scene. I really wish I hadn't seen it. It was really, really terrible. Okay, Cute.sfw, which I believe just means safe for work. This is another classic. This is a little palate cleanser for you. It's an average screamer. It's not too scary. I went to this site. You see this picture of an adorable little kitten. This is the picture of the kitten. And then while you're looking at this kitten around 7 seconds, it's actually a video, but you can't really tell that it's a video. And then you see, and then there's of course a scream to jump scare you. And then there's this face taking up the entire screen. Screamer Cactus is next. This is another weird kink thing. This is an image of male genitalia, and there's a cactus inserted into this man's you-know-what. Now, it does look very painful. However, this image is not bloody whatsoever, so it was definitely not the worst thing that I've seen compared to other stuff on this iceberg. The website that hosted this image was, again, another prank where when you opened it, you couldn't get out of it, so you were forced to look at this image for longer than anybody would want to. A bunch of tabs and browsers would open up. The song The Cadillac Theory by Stoop Flip would play very loudly in the background, again, just to make the viewer panic and be embarrassed. There was also apparently a little trend in 2016 where people were tricking Twitch streamers into opening this photo on live on their stream, just to watch them, of course, freak out and struggle to get it closed. Teenage Mutant Skull Fuckers. Now, honestly, I'd rather watch this than that scene from the anime. Like, that's how bad that scene from the anime is. And I've also, unfortunately, seen this one before. This was in the Do Not Research iceberg, also on that list, so I did have to watch it. I rewatched it for this video because I, by the grace of God, forgot a lot about it. This is a video of 4 people dressed up as the TMNTs, and they're just hanging out. They're eating pizza, looking at nudie mags together, and the TMNT song is playing in the background. Now, their cosplays in this video are creepy AF. Like, even if they don't go on to do what they do, the cosplays themselves, it looks like they're like wrapped up like mummies in shiny green duct tape. Their eyes are like lopsided and googly, like very, very odd. And then you notice pretty quickly that they all have these ridiculously large fake you-know-what's on their crotch as well. After just like a few seconds of them all just like seeming like they're just hanging out, they all just start beating up poor Leonardo. And I cannot stress this enough. It is well known that this video is fake and set up, but everything I'm about to describe is fake and set up. Nobody got hurt making this. But they start to stab Leonardo then, and they kill him. And then they essay him in the video. I, again, cannot stress enough that it is ridiculously fake looking. Like, they clearly took that green tape and like made the body parts of Leonardo out of the green tape and like stuffing and stuff. Like, it's so obviously set up. It's not even really trying to be realistic looking, which of course is good. It's just supposed to be the whole shock of what they're doing. So then they supposedly cut off Leonardo's head and then they essay his skull. Yeah, it's just a ridiculous video, again, of just one of those classics, like somebody sitting around and just for some reason had this idea and decided to ruin all of our childhoods. The video ends with them all spraying something that is supposed to look like semen, but is also, of course, very clearly fake. The bummer about this video, and even knowing about this video, is that you cannot hear anything about Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from now on for the rest of your life without this flashing into your head, especially if you've seen it. So if you really, really like that series, highly recommend steering clear of this one. All right, let's move on to tier 7. The first one in tier 7 is Spankwire's one of the scariest videos out there. Spankwire is just an adult video website. If you go there, that's all there is. It does still exist, but it does redirect you to another page. So it's under another name now. But this website became known for this particular shock video that was called one of the scariest videos out there. This is a very not safe for life video. There is the biggest thing in the video is severe genital mutilation. The song Knockout by Survivor plays while this footage is shown. I'm not going to get really into detail, but it's things like setting genitals on fire, just cutting them open, doing stuff like that, like stuff that most people would find extremely cringeworthy, and not in the secondhand embarrassment kind of way, in the like, oh my god, I can't watch that kind of way. I really hope it's fake, but I don't know, because the video was removed in 2018 and I could not find it. The Screamer wiki says that it's unavailable to watch altogether, like all on the internet. I don't believe that anything's ever truly gone. I'm sure somebody could find it somewhere, but I could not find it anywhere, and I'm willing to click on some pretty suspicious links to try to find these videos, but I really could not find this one. It just led me to broken pages, or my computer was like flashing warnings at me telling me not to proceed because there was going to be viruses. So there is a lot of reaction videos to this though, of people actually watching the original video, so you could probably get plenty of context just by watching people's reaction videos. Like I said, I'm sure it exists somewhere on the internet, but just not on the surface web, or not at least anywhere I could find. Is that wasps? Okay, so the next one is Maze 2019. I don't know what this one is, I'm not gonna lie. So there's no direct links. Like in my paranormal iceberg, it's really nice because there's links to all the videos in the iceberg. Like there's links on the iceberg that you can click on. This one doesn't have that, so I have to just like hopefully find it or guess when I don't know what one of them is. The title for this one is also too vague, so it's really hard to find. A lot of the time just movies, random movies come up. Maze Runner comes up, stuff like that, or the original Maze game, which we talked about in the first part of this video. So I do believe this is similar to Scary Maze game. I think it's just a newer version of it, but again, I can't be sure. Several people on the Reddit thread that posted this iceberg were also asking. I found a couple people asking what the heck Maze 2019 is, and nobody responded. So if anybody happens to know, feel free to send me an email. Okay, and then this next one, there's actually the next two. I have no idea what these are. You guys might need to help me. Again, if you know what these are, please email me. But this next one is Genetic Waffle. The only thing that comes up anywhere on the internet when you look up Genetic Waffle is Blue Waffle. We all know what Blue Waffle is, and we talked about that earlier in this iceberg and other icebergs. So I don't know what a Genetic Waffle is. I would assume that it's related to Blue Waffle, but there's no Screamer wiki on this one. There's no Know Your Meme. Your guess is as good as mine, so let me know if anybody knows what this is. I also looked through hundreds of comments on the Reddit thread of this iceberg, and nobody asked what this was, so maybe it's just me. Rickrolling.com is, again, I have no idea what this is. The only thing I know that Rickroll was originally the Never Gonna Give You Up song and the music video of it, and people love to link that music video in a discussion. Like they like to say like, oh, here's a great video of what we're talking about, or this video explains exactly what we're talking about super well, so you'll know what we're talking about. And then it links to the Never Gonna Give You Up music video, and it's just a joke. It's a prank, but it's a fun prank. I like it. I like it because it's harmless and you're not forcing anybody to watch a Screamer without them knowing what they're getting into. But this kind of implies that there's a specific website, rickrolling.com, that implies that it's something darker than that. Again, I have no idea. And when you look up rickrolling.com on Google, Never Gonna Give You Up is the only thing that comes up. So no idea. Let me know. I think that's the last one that I don't know, though, in this series. I believe all the others I was able to find. This is Neville. Poor Neville. This is a 50-second video of this animation of a little dude named Neville. The screen says, "This is Neville. He is depressed again. Alcohol doesn't seem to do its job, nor does crying." So it seems like it's gonna be like a PSA for depression, like a "you're not alone," or like "poor Neville, he could get help," or something like that. And it's not that, it's a Screamer. This is a very extreme gore Screamer. Definitely cannot show you this one. It's an image of a completely smashed in head, and then there's a flash animation of a dude screaming. Think smashed in head like that one episode of Walking Dead, like that bad, except supposedly a real photo. And then after the actual screamer part, the screen says, screaming just makes matters worse. Like going back to screaming just makes matters worse for poor Neville. This is a scary screamer. I would be freaked out if I was not expecting it. That, again, I've said this a bajillion times, but like, can we not force people to watch gore? Can we not force people into watching stuff that could really disturb them? Like, if you want to see it, let them know what it is. Let them know what they're getting themselves into. Don't trick anybody into seeing anything. Not cool, man. You can really, really scar people. Like, really scar people with that. I remember when I first heard about something involving animals, that somebody bestowed information on me about it that I did not ask for and did not want, and yet this person, it was a coworker, told me anyway. And I remember I could barely sleep for days because I could not get this stupid thing out of my mind. So it's just like, it doesn't feel like it's that big of a deal, but it really is. It could really, really scar people and really, really upset them and make them feel like I just remember that feeling like I would never be happy again. Like, I actually went through days of depression because of knowing of this thing that I wish I had just never heard of. Anyway, goodbye to the Dolphin stream is next. This one is really strange. I can actually show you some of this video as well because it's really not that bad. It's pretty safe for YouTube because it's just a drawing, a pretty bad drawing at that. Okay, so this website, the original website would be a drawing of a girl with pink hair, and then the person visiting the website would click on her, and every time you did, she would get more and more injured and bloody until her head was eventually gone completely, and then the blood left in her wake would be in the shape of a dolphin, hence Dolphin Dream. Then the page would go to these black boxes where you had to like kind of catch them because they were moving across the screen, and you would click on them to get more animations and drawings from the creator, or often links to music files. The entire website in the end seemed to just be a promotion for somebody's music, for the creator's music. The creator of this website was apparently a Vocaloid music producer named ATOLS or ATOLS. I'm not sure which one it is. I'm not familiar with him. And he made this site as a teenager when he was learning HTML code. Super Mario Bloopers is next. This was created by a French user by the name of Gore Killer. And then this video was also uploaded to Newgrounds in 2008, if that tells you anything else. I can also show you some of this one because, again, it's all animated. Just kind of a flash warning. It's not too flashy, but it's like a montage, and so it's very quick, and it can be like kind of, it might be photosensitive. I'm not sure, just FYI. So it's exactly what it sounds like. It's a little compilation of Super Mario bloopers, but they're bloopers that somebody like drew that they animated themselves for a video. But then there's a screamer at the end of the video. First, this picture of Luigi pops up, and this is kind of the first jump scare. Here's the picture of Luigi that pops up, and there's a scream, of course, to accompany him. And then things get so weird. There's these stills from Saw 3 of specifically John Kramer in his hospital bed. It then goes to a photo of Mark Hoffman, and the voiceover is some dialogue from the Saw movies of John Kramer. It's really weird. And then somebody drew, like, again, like cartoon dynamite on Mark Hoffman's head, and it like is supposedly explodes his head. I don't know who thought of this. It's nonsensical. It doesn't make any sense. It's very silly. Omsj is next. I don't know if this one is Omsj or Omsj. I don't know. This is another classic short and sweet screamer clip. It starts with a Russian girl talking to the camera, and apparently she's talking about how a lot of people assume that polar bears can't smile, and then it cuts to screamers, to disturbing images. Again, huge flash warning for this one. I'm not going to play the flashy part of this video, but if you go look it up on your own, just huge flash warning. In the little montage of the screamer, you get images, of course, of Reagan from The Exorcist, Dr. Shivers, a Halloween decoration, Pazuzu from The Exorcist, some photos from the guinea pig movie, specifically Flower of Flesh and Blood, which, if you don't know, the guinea pig franchise was a Japanese horror movie series, and it was extremely disturbing and extremely gory. It then cuts back to the Russian girl, and she finishes speaking, and the video ends. It was posted in 2016, and like I said, I don't know if it's Omsj or Omsj, because I don't know if it's like the Russian girl's name or something. One Man, Two Needles is next. This is another shock video that will surprise exactly no one in terms of what it's about. It's a guy sticking needles into his testicles. The guy has his testicles like tied up at the ends, and then he's sticking 2 needles into them and then pulling them out again and doing it over and over. It could be fake though. Just saying, all of these could be hopefully fake. However, there's possibly a second video that this is referring to. There's this weird, obscure little interview of this guy named Mark that exists on the web, and he's known for having a ridiculously and possibly large you-know-what. And it's not natural. It's because he spent 6 years injecting it himself with silicone. Now, obviously, do not do this. This is known to be cancer causing, and it's also just, of course, dangerous. And he has admitted himself now that his genitals are completely non-functional. Like, he cannot have intimate relationships, and he can't even stand up to go pee. So One Man, Two Needles could be either of those videos. 8 Girls, No Cup. This is another one similar to 2 Girls, 1 Cup. Except this is the beginning of an adult film where someone knocks on the door and a girl answers, and there are 8 girls, or hopefully I should say women, are in the house having a little party. One of the women in the house pees into a cup. Another woman at the party drinks it, and all 8 of them cheer. Then they all get naked. Then one of the girls is apparently defecated on by all the other girls. And their video ends with them all just puking all over each other. And one of them apparently says, "Is everyone having fun?" at the end of the video at this party. No, Stacy. No, we're not having fun, but thank you very much for asking. One Girl, 99 Stomps is next. This one is also one that I have seen and covered and completely forgot about. I must have done it on the Strange Deaths iceberg, maybe, or I did it on some iceberg, I swear. Just a warning, this is a CCTV footage one. The video is also very, very disturbing, so highly recommend not going to watch it. This one is also weird because there's not a ton of information on it, so it's hard to know if the description of this video are just people making stuff up. What we do know is that it is CCTV footage of a very young woman, possibly a teenager, and the footage of her is outside of the elevator. She's going into the elevators to go up to her apartment. This is somewhere in Russia. A man comes up behind her. This man's name is Dmitry Chernikov. He just runs up behind her in the video. He is apparently a drug addict as well. This is obviously not the first time he's done this. And then in the video, he just starts stomping on this girl's head, like pulls her to the ground and just starts violently stomping her on the head. Obviously, it's not actually 99 times, but the video was just called that because it feels like it, because it feels like this attack just goes on forever. So like I said, there's a real lack of information about this clip. I tried really hard to find info about Dmitry. I looked up his name. I wanted to make sure that he was in prison and got arrested for this. It's really hard because some sources say that this girl was 15 years old. Others just say that she was like an older teenager, so maybe anywhere from 17 to 19 years old. Some people swear that she did not pass away during this clip. Some say that in between stomps, he like leans down to her, and some people say that he's mugging her, but other people say that he's strangling her and then going back to stomping her. It's a terrible video. He ends the video by dragging her into the elevator, closing the door after he mugs all of her valuables, and then runs off and leaves her there for dead. A lot of people claim that she passed away later in the hospital. Other people claim that she survived. I don't know how any of these people know this, though. They refuse to give any sources, so we have no idea what happened to this poor girl. I think because he had been a repeat offender, he had been doing this around the area in Russia. He was caught because he did it on CCTV footage. Obviously, they have his name, so I believe he is in prison for this, but absolutely, positively horrific and so sad that this is on video, but also just like, What the hell? What the hell? I'm pretty sure if you ask somebody for all their money and tell them you're gonna hurt them if they don't, I'm pretty sure most people are gonna be very willing to give you anything you want. Like, you did not have to do this to her. Like, you could have just mugged her and then left her alone. It's just that if he was trying to get rid of any witnesses so she wouldn't go to the cops, the irony of that, because he just filmed himself doing this and got caught anyway. So again, terrible video. Okay, let's move on to tier 8. This is the final tier in this iceberg. InternetHell.tk is next. Apparently it was just a screamer prank of another demon face. Then it's just a high-pitched screech and some not safe for work content. And it would also open a lot of tabs on your computer. It'd be hard to close. Like, you probably can't even differentiate that from all the others that we talked about, because a lot of the screamers seem to have that same formula. Okay, next is 3 orangutans, 1 blender. So we have gotten to the one that I was talking about in the beginning. Big spoiler alert on this one for why I am going to explain this one. And that is that this video does not exist. This video is completely fake. Somebody made this up. It was in the peak of when reaction videos were getting a lot of views, and somebody made up the most ridiculous thing, terrible thing they possibly could, simply to get views on YouTube. There is no evidence that this video exists. That being said, there are descriptions of animal cruelty, but like I said, fake, didn't happen. Therefore, it didn't really bother me reading about it. So if it doesn't bother you, go ahead and listen. If not, skip to the next one. This is actually kind of an important part of internet history though, because if you see anybody referring to this video, you can therefore tell them that it was just a creepypasta, basically, and that it's not real, because you will find people that insist that it's real. Any reaction video of this video that you see, they always have the same like audio of the video playing in the reaction video. So they'll play audio of literally monkeys and blender sounds, and then, you know, other random sounds in the video, but it's very clear that they're stock sounds. Like, most people could find these on stock websites or even on YouTube, and it was clear that somebody just put together random stock sounds of something that would sound horrible, and then they are very poorly acted reaction videos. So in one of those reaction videos, a random person commented and explained to everybody what happens in the video. Again, they just made this up, but it turned into the rumor of what this video was about. People saying that it was a video that does exist still, but it's on the dark web. The video was supposedly taken in either India or South America, and it was a group of men that were very clearly part of some sort of cult or terrorist group. They had a small camp in the jungle, and they would ritualistically torture themselves, animals, and each other. They would take these very malnourished orangutans that they were holding captive in a building. They were like collecting them. There was like a bunch in there just for these rituals, and they would force them out. They supposedly injured the orangutans quite a bit, poured bleach and lemon juice on their wounds, which, remember that for later. I know that sounds weird, but just remember, make a note of that. And then they would throw them into a giant machine that was kind of like an animal waste shredder, but it was much bigger, big enough to carry a job like, 3 orangutans. But then the comment goes on to say that these men are cutting off their own limbs sometimes and pouring them into the shredder, defecating on the shredder while it's running, like all this stuff that like gives it away that it's fake, because it's clearly somebody just coming up with creepypasta type details, but like they made it non-believable because the details were so ridiculous. Anyway, like I said, there is zero evidence that this exists at all. Just people that are making shit up and putting comments on the internet. In fact, what I just told you, like there was no rumor of what was in the video until a random Joe Schmo put a comment of what they said was in the video on YouTube. And then this video was also rumored to give people terrible, recurring, unrelentless nightmares, sometimes seizures while they were watching the video. And then there was a rumor that a lot of people went on to commit S-word after watching this video. Again, remember that. I know that's a weird thing to remember, and you don't have to remember it right now, but it's going to come back up in a couple of the other topics on the rest of this tier. So just shelve it for right now. Okay, one bull, one slave is next. This is just, I'm not going to get too detailed in this one. It's just another scat video. I think I've said the word scat now more in this particular iceberg series than most people will ever say in their lifetime. This was just a clip of a man defecating into a bowl, and then he makes a woman in the video who is his slave in the video, you know, with his stuff. So yeah, and then he gets off while watching her, while making her do, yeah. You get it. You get it. We don't need to get too far into detail. Okay, superanimeworld.webhostapp.com. That's a mouthful. So this is just another classic screamer, though. These are getting kind of boring, the classic screamers, because they're all exactly the same. Not that I could watch this one because nobody seems to have access to this one anymore. It seems to have disappeared. In fact, the creator commented on the Screamer Wiki and said that they did have it somewhere, but cannot upload it because Adobe doesn't support Flash anymore. But I guess it was a clip from the anime series Perman? I don't know. All the way back from 1983. But if you clicked on the clip, it would take you to, can you guess? I'll give you a second. Take a guess. Jeff the Killer and a Scream. I'm Happy.gif. So the I'm Happy GIF is actually really interesting because it's a mixture of fiction and reality. The Screamer does exist and it is real. So the Screamer itself is a classic Screamer, but the story behind the Screamer is a creepypasta. The clip starts out with this creepy smiley face. I'll show it to you right here. It's not always depicted exactly like this. Sometimes it's a weird variation of this, but then it'll change slowly into this sinister frown, and then you'll get a ton of flashes of terrible photos. Again, if you go watch this one yourself, major flash warning for any of them. But the example of this video on the examples of the Screamer on YouTube are actually pretty tame, pretty safe for YouTube. Again, the cliche smile dog, Reagan from The Exorcist, Harlequin babies, of course. But if you go on the creepypasta fanon, I think is how you say it, that website, it's a lot darker and claims that the original clip of this GIF shows really terrible, terrible things, like photos of R-word happening, photos of aborted fetuses, bomb test victims, animal stuff, mutilated bodies. And then at the very end, it's very flashy and it says, "Have a nice day." The creepypasta around this story claimed that anybody who watched this on their computer would instantly download a virus. And then shortly after that, they would be found dead and mutilated in their homes. Like this was a very similar to The Ring, where if you watch this tape or watch this video clip, you will be cursed and die. And then it was said that the person who was killed would have a smiley face in blood next to their body. So that's a very watered down version of the creepypasta. And like I said, the Screamer on YouTube does exist. I couldn't find the more violent, darker one, so I'm not positive that that one exists, but I'm sure it does somewhere. But at least some of these Screamers exist, except the curse and the creepypasta, of course, is fictional. 6 girls, 1 dead guy. Thankfully, just like 3 orangutans, 1 blender, this video is fake and there's no evidence that it ever existed. There are fake reaction videos to this video online, and every one of these reaction videos starts with this screen. The following is a candid reaction to the vile clip dubbed 6 girls, 1 dead guy. All of these reaction videos played the same song in the background of the video as well. And the clip supposedly depicted exactly what is implied by the title: 6 women performing necrophilia on a man, but then also taking it further, defecating on him, dismembering him, removing his eyes, you know, the usual internet stuff. And then Remember I told you to shelf those details from the orangutan video? The rumor with this video was that watching this video would cause seizures in a lot of people, nightmares, and that some people would go on to commit S-word after watching it. Now, the difference though is that the reactions to this video are way more realistic than the orangutan ones. All of those reaction videos are very clearly fake. This one, however, is very realistic, and we believe, it is suspected that people would take other people's reactions to Two Girls, One Cup and other shock videos like that, and they would edit it in with this intro and a different title and say that it was 6 girls, 1 dead guy. So the reactions would seem pretty genuine because people are genuinely reacting to something very horrific to most people, but of course they weren't actually watching this video because it doesn't exist, which I just find really interesting. People are very clever, but you're starting to see a theme there with the specifically fake videos that don't actually exist are supposedly causing people nightmares, seizures, and even death. And hold on to that because we have one more of those. 2 men, 1 girl, 1 supper. This is yet another video that is rumored to exist, but there's no proof of it existing. I think that these few that don't exist are on the lowest, most obscure tier of this iceberg. I think specifically because a lot of people rumor them to exist and they are like the worst of the worst videos out there that ever possibly exist on the internet. And they're so bad that people just pretend like they don't even exist and that it's all fictional, when in reality it really is just fictional. It's just creepypastas being creepypastas. Anyway, so I personally don't buy it. I think that if any of these videos existed, I think somebody would find them. I think that they would exist somewhere. Things just don't disappear off the internet completely, and I think that there would be more people that had actually seen any of these videos. Or, you know, if illegal things were happening, they would have been turned into hopefully the FBI in some cases. So anyway, this one, 2 men, 1 girl, 1 supper, is also interesting because this is another fake reaction video to an alleged shock video of a man. But all you hear in the reaction videos is the audio from the shock video, and it is audio of a man scolding somebody who sounds like a young girl, supposedly a teenager, who is screaming, and then you hear these really loud slapping sounds, and there's like this weird synth drum loop background music. I listened to the audio, the one that everybody uses in their reaction videos. One commenter, yet again, just a random commenter on one of the reaction videos, claims that they knew what was in the video and claims that it was a 14-year-old daughter whose dad was punishing her for not eating her vegetables at the dinner table. So this is going to be really disturbing because it's an underage girl, it's a child, but that he allegedly in the video spanks her until she's bleeding and then, get this, puts bleach and lemon juice on her wounds, and the cameraman is laughing and taking pleasure in this poor girl's misery. Again, very interesting that all of these comments seem to have similar details. They were left by different people, but it's almost like somebody read the comment on the orangutan video or on the other video or on the 6 girls, 1 dead guy video and like took details out of it for other ones. Like, it's really interesting that these all have similar details. Again, the most likely explanation for this particular one is that this audio does exist, but it's from just a normal adult film. And of course, the context is completely changed, but that all people in this film, hopefully, are of age. And the audio was taken from another film, but then the 2 men, 1 girl, 1 supper story was concocted to fit this audio to make reaction videos to get views. And then yet again, people would claim that they would have seizures, recurring nightmares, and sometimes commit S-word if they had to watch this video or stumbled upon this video. That is the theme with all the hoax videos. Death, 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 curse. And alas, here we are, the last one on the iceberg. And this one's actually very obscure, but not too scary or shocking, in my opinion. This was a screamer created in 2012 12 by a Japanese artist named Yamada. When you went to the page, apparently back in the day, there would be a really creepy photo of a really creepy doll staring at you with its head apparently tilted slightly. And then, of course, like all screamers, it was accompanied by a very loud scream. The page then, after the screamer, displayed 2 sentences in Japanese, of course, but translated to English, roughly said, "The curse has begun." And then it said, "In 49 days, you will die," leading viewers to believe that just by stumbling across the website meant that they would be cursed and pass away in 49 days. Of course, this was not true, but for younger teens and younger people that were more likely to stumble across websites like this, being in the age of the internet that this was, were probably pretty scarred, and it was probably pretty dang terrifying. The website now, however, doesn't go to this doll. I don't think this doll even exists anymore. It just goes to the artist's main website to showcase all of their artwork. That is gonna do it for the Screamer Shock website iceberg. That was wild. Honestly, I'm okay with it being over. I do enjoy torturing myself just for views, just for the sake of entertaining you guys. Don't get me wrong, I'm sure I'll do it again in the future. However, I am relieved to have a break from this because I have seen the Do Not Research iceberg gave me plenty of depravity and stuff and the deep, dark folds of the internet that nobody should ever see, but I felt like I did it all over again for this video. I will say though, I don't think anything tops Putrid Sex Object, which is what we talked about in the last video. For me, that was the worst one in this entire iceberg. That was the one that really, like, I sat there and was like, all right, it's time to take a break from the internet for today. So that one was just, even if it was ridiculous, that one was really just, yeah. Leave me a comment. Tell me what your favorite one of this entire iceberg was. And by favorite, I just mean like, tell me the one that was the worst for you or that you thought was the worst. And I would be really interested to know. And yeah, I think we're going to end it there. That's going to do it for today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please like the video just to help the channel. Don't forget about Mistplay, our sponsor today. And I will see you all in the next video. Thank you so much to all of our patrons on the screen right now, with a special shout out to our top tiers: Colin Holmes, The Deck of Cards, Michelle Valdovinos, Little Kittle Cat, Mitchell Schaefer Meyer, Momo Neon, Marina 144, Elderly Hipster, Rebecca Jackson, Quinamon, Cobblecon Anime and Gaming Convention, Sarah the Crazy Fish Lady, Maxie, Ellison Luna, Tiny Mighty Bookworm, A Bunny Apparently, Leon Vanek, I Am in Your Walls, Habromania, Cyberdog Investigations LLC, Vicky Cat, Amy B, Take Urch, Dead Without the E, Chara, MH Dave, Ami, Lindsay R, It's Tara, obviously, Shayna R, El Magnificoco, Laura Winter, Lilith, Dana, Ashes, Gosh Zilla, Geo, Arya Anomaly, Ghosty Girl, Mel Miller, Jessica Cook, Mark Fagundes, Mike, Yankee, and Stinky Pete.